You're listening to The Witches of Wadera Keep.
Whenever I'm alone for any small period of time, I'm attacked by one of my underworld menaces, which appears only to me and which vanishes when others inquire what is wrong. I've been staying close to others, but the attacks are becoming increasingly disruptive to our coven's activities and are preventing me from sleeping or attending to myself. How can I stand on my own again?
When these episodes happen, what is the first thing of your sources that gets disrupted? The first part of you that becomes inaccessible?
It's the wonder I find in myself. I am seeing other images of myself, and it's leaving me deeply unsettled.
Where do you see the images?
Well, for the last few weeks, I have been seeing something wrong in my reflection in the mirrors in my home, in my apartment. Just little things that are off, movements that aren't mine, things that aren't in the room, features that don't belong to me. But I've been avoiding looking at them. There are a lot of mirrors in my home because all my windows are north-facing, so I put them up to reflect more light back into the room. And since I can't avoid them, I've been leaving and going out. And what's been happening more recently is I have been seeing myself outside of the plane of those mirrors. So I will be hiking in the woods, in the hills, and I'll see myself paralleling my track. And then that version will disappear behind a tree and not emerge out the other side. Or I will be going down a hill and seeing myself waiting at the bottom, and then when I turn a switch back, they're gone. Or I'll be at the beach and see myself standing up to my waist in the water, beckoning. And when I look to see if anybody else sees that, again, they're gone. So it's driven me back into my home. And now I'm starting to see myself there. I'll step out of my bedroom and see me disappear around the corner towards the front door, but no one's in the hallway. Or I'll look up while I'm preparing food, and I can see straight down the hall into my office. As soon as I look up, that version of myself steps aside and they're gone. Or I'll wake up at night to a shadow with my shape at the foot of my bed, and when I turn on the lights, there's nothing there. So I am feeling trapped and like something is closing in on me.
It's an apparition at the corner of the vision, like a shadow that looks like a cat, or the pile of clothing that could have been a figure in the dark, or in the woods, a glance of a shape moving between the trees, and you look and no, it couldn't have been. It's just a bush. And there's almost a whisper on the wind that's asking you to trust your vision. You are a witch. You are used to engaging your senses in the obscure and arcane around you. And it's unusual that you would be tricked by something. So the question is something out to get you, or is something calling to you? Where do you go? Or maybe the question is, do you go for help anywhere, or do you sit with this by yourself?
I tried to sit with it by myself. I try to handle my problems on my own first, before I turn to people for help. But I have also found myself being called into the city, and That's where I had located the source of this voice. As this has started to wear on me, because, if I'm waking up at night, then the thing to do is to stop sleeping. And if I can't prepare food without being disturbed, then I don't really need to eat. Lost my appetite anyway. And so I've become bleary and unfocused and ragged. And I believe the voice has been getting stronger as that has been going on. And that is a voice, the one telling me to trust myself. That I believe. And I've been seeking it out.
Where do you go? What clues do you follow? This thing is elusive. It's evasive at the edges of your vision. Whatever it is, it looks like you, but it's not you. The whisper feels like it's coming from inside your mind, but it's not coming from inside your mind. It's coming from a far corner, around the corner, a voice that almost sounds like it's calling your name. It's like those summer days when you're outside and you're a child playing in the streets and you hear someone's mother shout for someone and it sounds like they're calling your name. Only this time, you know they're calling your name. What are the first clues that you find, that you follow?
Every time I have realized that I am following this voice, I have found myself near the water. So the first time I wound up in San Francisco, in the city, on the Embarcadero where the piers are. So on the east side, where across the bay is Oakland, where I live. The next time I was further north, Fisherman's Wharf, tourist area. Felt a little strange to find myself there. I don't go into the city very often, but I've noticed that it's by the water and it's been curving up and around the peninsula of the city, leading north and west. And I have suspected that I would find this source closer to the Golden Gate and the ocean itself.
The Golden Gate Bridge is an enormous construction for commerce, transportation. It's an industrial marvel of mortal power and prowess, but its footprint does not only sit in the mundane realm. Such an object with so much intention and construction and perspiration and vision put into it creates an echo across the different levels of reality. And then to name it a gate, names have power.
Well, may I tell you something a little bit about the Golden Gate? The point of San Francisco and the point of Marin, it is actually that gap between the two pieces of land that have been referred to as the gate by the Ohlone people here. And they have honored it as a place where the dead leave this realm.
A crossing point of the dead, a crossing point of the living. You find yourself somehow inexorably over the days drawn there, almost a delirium in your exhaustion brings you there. The fog in your head from lack of sleeping, the hunger that has turned into just a background static and hum of your disrupted appetite, and you find yourself standing there, looking out across the bay, across the Golden Gate, across this, what's it called? Isthmus?
Isthmus, yes.
And when you look out there, what are the details of that view that catch your eyes first?
The nearest details are the suicide nets. They're strung across the bridge. So many places where you can climb are covered in barbed wire, and makes me think of how many people must have thrown themselves from this bridge before they put those nets up. Then if I'm looking east towards home, I can see Alcatraz, the prison island. And if I look to the west, I can see the sunset.
The sun is setting on this day, the longest day of the year. And as you stand there and consider the view with this prison to the back, the gates to the underworld beside you, and the setting sun in front of you, you become aware of a presence behind you to the left shoulder. And it seems to speak, considering also the end of this day. And it says, "This day is as far from balance as one can get." This is possibly one of the greatest insults to those of us who live in the night.
When I hear that, it's interesting because the state I am currently in is also deeply unbalanced. I feel, just even how I feel physically, I feel like I'm teetering on the edge of something and about to fall. And when I hear that, I fundamentally agree. I think because I am in a state of delirium, I do speak back. How do we balance this?
The individual or figure or entity, perhaps we use the word entity because as you focus on it in the corner of your eye, perhaps a little afraid to turn fully to face it with the fear that it may disappear on you. You can tell that it turns its attention first to the gate and then to the small prison island and then to the city. And it says, "Perhaps the living have been given far too long of a leash as of late. There's little to hold back the whims of people who think they know what true power is."
I don't think I speak anything in return to that, but once again, it is that just fundamentally and deeply that feeling of agreement, considering everything that is happening, that has been happening. Yes, that leash does feel too long. It's wrapped around our feet, our throats. We're being dragged.
Still with its attention away from you, but you can tell that it is watching and calculating, thinking. It says, "There used to be such a reverence for the cycles of life." And of course, there's an unsaid word in there. You sense it too, don't you?
Of course. Cycles are natural. And so many things have been not even pushed out of balance, but yanked hard. I think because I am exhausted, it feels almost like I feel like I might pass out or something like that at this point. And I ask, who are you? What do you want?
At this, it turns to face you fully. And I'd ask you, when you stare at this doppelganger of yourself, it is almost you, but something, at least one feature, is not yours. Which one is it?
It's my eyes.
When you stare into those eyes, where do they take you first?
I think the thing that appears off to me is that the pupils are too big. And I think I fall down those pupils like it's a hole.
It's hard to say if it's your exhaustion or if it's the eyes themselves. But the rest of the world falls away, and it is you and this figure standing now on a spit of rock in a dark place. But you know that it's surrounded by water, even if with your eyes you cannot see it.
Can I hear it?
With your ears you cannot hear it, and yet the sound of water tickles in your mind. And as your eyes can't see anything, the glint of some light shimmering plays across the inside of your mind. And the entity says to you, "What would you do about it if you were given the chance?"
I would end it. Things need to end so that new things can begin.
I'm going to ask you in this moment, are you using true magic to try to stand on your own, or are you going to use a folly?
I'm going to use a folly. I'm going to trip headfirst into danger.
The entity looks at you. There's almost, you can sense an approval. I wouldn't say there's a smirk on its face, but there is a silent appreciation. And it holds out its hand. This version of you holds out its hand, your hand, toward you. And it says, "Ending things is also very, very tiring. And I can help."
I think because I am in this unreal space, which just feels like an extension of where I've been coming this whole time, and because the repeated message that I've heard is to trust myself, that's what I do. I reach my hand out to myself.
You clasp the hand. The self of you that you've chosen to trust in this moment brings you into some kind of embrace. And as it does, it says, "You are very tired. We have so much work to do, but first, rest." And it takes you into a cradle within its arms, puts its hand against your face, and the darkness surrounds you and you slip into sleep. And you, or your body, turns from considering the Golden Gate Bridge. That smirk really upon your face as the entity takes some steps in your shoes for the time being.
That was Sara Brink as Twin One and Jacob Wolf Lefton as the narrator. Sound design by Sara Brink. This scene was produced for the alternate reality game Broken Sky, which was played over Blue Sky in July 2025 as cross-promotion for the Witches of Wadera Keep and Oops All Witches. This is a Dancing Stickman production.